It's an agreement that carries great strategic significance for India. Today, India signed an agreement with Iran to manage the southeastern Iranian port of Chabahar for the next 10 years. Indian Shipping Minister Sarbanand Sonowal travelled to Iran to sign the crucial agreement. India has been developing a part of the port in Chabahar, which is located on Iran's southeastern coast along the Gulf of Oman, as a way to transport goods to Iran. Afghanistan and Central Asian countries that avoid the port of Karachi in Pakistan. US sanctions on Iran, however, have slowed down the port's development. Let's understand the geostrategic location and significance of this port and its brief history. Chabahar is a deep water port located in the Sistan-Balochistan province of Iran. It's the closest Iranian port to India and is located in the open sea, providing easy and secure access for large cargo ships. During the visit of Prime Minister Modi to Iran in May 2016, a trilateral agreement to establish the International Transport and Transit Corridor, or the Chabahar Agreement, was signed by India, Iran and Afghanistan, all three countries in fact. India is participating in the development of the first phase of the Shahid Beheshti terminal at the Chabahar port in cooperation with the government of Iran. India has so far supplied 6 mobile harbour cranes of 140 tons and 100 tons capacity and other equipment worth $25 million. The Indian government, India Ports Global Limited, through its wholly owned subsidiary, India Ports Global Chabahar Free Zone, took over the operations of the Chabahar port on the 24th of December 2018. Since then, it has handled traffic of more than 90,000 TEUs of container traffic and more than 8.4 MMT of bulk and general cargo. The port has also facilitated the supply of humanitarian assistance, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. Till date, a total of 2.5 million tons of wheat and 2,000 tons of pulses have been transshipped from India to Afghanistan through Chabahar port. In 2021, India supplied 40,000 litres of environment-friendly pesticide, Malthion, to Iran to fight locust menace through the port. In August 2023, Prime Minister Narendra Modi met with President Ibrahim Raisi of Iran in Johannesburg on the sidelines of the BRICS summit. Both leaders discussed the pending long-term contract on Chabahar and gave a clear political direction to finalize and sign the long-term contract. Finally, today, during his visit to Tehran, the Minister of Shipping, Ports and Waterways, Sarbanand Sonowal, witnessed the signing of the new 10-year contract between India Ports Global Limited and Ports and Maritime Organization of Iran. Under the contract, IPGL will commit to further equip and operate the port for the duration of the contract. At the end of the 10-year period, both sides would further extend their cooperation. IPGL will invest approximately $120 million in equipping the port. India has also offered an Indian rupee credit window equivalent to $250 million for mutually identified projects aimed at improving Chabahar-related infrastructure. The Chabahar port has provided much needed sea access to the landlocked countries of the region, including Afghanistan, and emerged as a commercial transit hub for the region. It's a more economical and stable route for landlocked countries of the region to reach India and the global market. With the operationalization of India's long-term investment in Chabahar, this port is likely to become an important hub for connecting the landlocked countries of Central Asia and Afghanistan with India's booming economy. The long-term agreement, which will be valid as we said for 10 years and will be extended automatically, was being negotiated by the two sides over the past 3 years and had been primarily held up by differences over a clause related to arbitration. It will replace an initial pact inked in 2016 that covered India's operations at Shahid Beheshti terminal of Chabahar port and has been renewed on an annual basis. Minister Sarbanand Sonowal's visit to Tehran amid India's general election emphasizes the importance attached by New Delhi to the port and its place in ambitious plans to forge greater connectivity with Iran, Afghanistan and the landlocked Central Asian states. The move also comes at a time when China has been showing greater interest in investments in ports and other coastal infrastructure in Iran, with Tehran pressing Beijing to take up the development of other terminals at Chabahar port. Both India and Iran see Chabahar as a hub for the international north-south transport corridor that will allow shipping companies to use an alternative route that bypasses the sensitive and busy Persian Gulf and Strait of Hormuz. Since IPGL began operations at Shahid Beheshti terminal in late 2018, it has handled more than 4.8 million tons of bulk cargo, including transshipments from Australia, Bangladesh, Brazil, Germany, Russia and the United Arab Emirates. As we mentioned, India took up development of Shahid Beheshti terminal under a tripartite agreement on Chabahar signed with both Iran and Afghanistan in May of 2016. Afghanistan is effectively no longer part of the arrangements since the takeover of the country by the Taliban in 2021, though Chabahar Port has benefited from a US waiver on sanctions imposed on Iran. India pledged it would invest $85 million in the terminal and has so far supplied cranes and other equipment worth $24 million US. And remember, through this agreement, India is getting ready to counter both China and Pakistan by tying up with Iran. This is the first time India will be managing a port overseas. So what exactly is the significance of the Chabahar port? Can it be India's answer to Pakistan's Gwadar port and China's Belt and Road Initiative? The Chabahar port is viewed as a crucial cog in linking India to Afghanistan, Central Asia and the larger Eurasian region. India wants the port to be a key hub in the international north-south transport corridor. The INSTC connects India and Russia via Iran. It's a 7,200-kilometer multi-mode transport project for moving freight among India, Iran, Afghanistan, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Russia, Central Asia and Europe. The INSTC gained importance amid the conflict in Ukraine. New Delhi has been pushing both the INSTC and the Chabahar port to boost regional connectivity. India and Iran first began discussing the port back in 2003. It took India another decade to finally invest $100 million in the port. The vital step on the port was finally taken in 2016 during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Iran. India at the time also committed to financing the development of the Shahid Beheshti terminal to the tune of $85 million. In 2018, the then Iranian President Hassan Rouhani had expounded on increasing India's involvement in the port. This port is important because of its prime location on the Gulf of Oman, at the mouth of the Strait of Hormuz. The Chabahar port is Iran's only deep-sea port with direct access to the ocean. Significantly, it's also exempt from US sanctions, which makes it an attractive prospect not just for India but other countries as well. Central Asian nations such as Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan have also articulated their willingness to use Chabahar to get their goods into the Indian Ocean region and the Indian market. It will also help Indian traders and investors get access to Central Asia. The Chabahar port allows India to cut the time it takes to send goods to Central Asia by 1/3. The port will boost India's import of iron ore, sugar and rice. It also gives India access by road to 4 Afghan cities of Herat, Kandahar, Kabul and Mazar-e-Sharif. It stands to reason that better connectivity with Afghanistan could thus lead to improved diplomatic ties between the two countries. The port can also be used as a pushing-off point from which humanitarian operations can be conducted. The development comes at a time when the crisis in West Asia is reaching a fever pitch. Hamas's attack on Israel and the latter's response has led to key trade routes being disrupted and has shone a light on the need to improve regional connectivity. But arguably, the port's most important feature is serving as India's counter to Pakistan's Gwadar port and China's Belt and Road Initiative. Using the Chabahar port allows India to cut Pakistan out of the loop while sending its goods directly to Afghanistan. The Diplomat magazine wrote in a piece, and I quote, "India has been severely hindered in establishing a land-based trading with countries to its west, as virtually all of these routes would have to go through Pakistan, India's arch rival. Establishing a sea-based trade route to Western and Central Asia via Chabahar Port would allow India to bypass Pakistan and establish trade networks with the countries in these regions." The port became even more significant for India after China included the Gwadar port as part of the Belt and Road Initiative, or BRI. The port could also be of use to India if China stations its vessels in Gwadar port, which is less than 400 kilometers away by road and 100 kilometers by sea. The Chabahar port also serves India's goal of countering China's attempts to expand its influence in the Indian Ocean. Many experts have noted how New Delhi and Tehran coming closer together could prove a counterweight to China and Pakistan's all-weather friendship. They argue India's involvement with Chabahar Port serves as a key strategy to buttress its superpower status by widening its regional market presence and using an Indo-Iranian alliance to buffer China and particularly China-Pakistan cooperation. While India's development of Chabahar Port could be impacted by deteriorating US-Iran ties, especially if Donald Trump returns to the White House, opportunities still remain.
Today is a big day in this journey. We have jointly undertaken to develop Chabahar Port as a primary hub of regional connectivity. The signature of the long-term contract will provide a positive momentum and will be a confidence booster to the traders and business persons, not just in Iran and India, but the wider region as a whole. I am sure that the Indian operator IPGL will work to the best of its capacity and will continue to enjoy cooperation of ports and maritime organization of Iran.